Well, I would basically say it's for me, it was probably more working out what the crowds want and being really, really quick on realizing what they want and what they don't want. Especially now. Now I could tell mostly just by looking at the crowd and seeing what different nationalities and whatever else is in the crowd. And you sort of pick up on just their look from the first couple of tracks you play and knowing whether they're into it or not. You want to make sure you play the right things for the crowd to make sure they're on the dance floor, because the last thing you want is be DJing, be, a few hundred people, but no one on the dance floor. Yeah. So I think that's one skill that I've really picked up well. It's just reading the actual crowds. For me, a lot of the times I've noticed that sometimes with my sort of crowds that I play to, if you chop and change too many of the different eras too quick, you lose the crowds. Where with me, I've noticed if I get into one era of music, I'll stay in that era for a while just to keep them people satisfied. And most of the times, the others, especially these days, the younger crowds are really getting into them eras. So it's a win-win situation. So you'll get them on there. So I usually like to play for the older crowd first, because a lot of the times they're the first to leave. They like to come early and leave early. And then I'll like to go into the other eras, more the 90s or early 2000s later on. And then you find they're the ones that will stay longer, Not saying the older crowd doesn't stay longer. Some of them will stay from the start to the end, but the majority will actually probably leave a bit earlier, where with the younger ones, sometimes they like to stay a bit longer too. So they'll come maybe a bit later and stay later.
Reading the crowd to me is getting a majority of the crowd, not reading every single one. You're never going to guess what everybody's like. But reading crowd to me also takes a bit, you got to be a bit smart about it. I think it's about requests as well, where I talk to people about requests. When I'm playing music, when people say, oh, they love this song, but they love this song, I'm playing to 100 people. Let's just be simple as that. So my job is to make 80% of those people dance, or 80% of those people have a good time. So it's got to be quite general. That's what I feel about reading it. Unless you're going to a music specific night, especially as an open format, you've got to read 80%. And I do this also by checking with the bar staff. Okay, what parties do we have in? Do we have any Hindus? Do we have any 40th, 21st? Do we have any engagement parties? It always helps. And I don't also mind, like we talked about, getting on the mic and asking requests. I'll also do, right, cool, do we have any reggaeton lovers in tonight? Do we have any R&B lovers in tonight? Do we have dancehall? Do we have soca? Because, if I get someone who requests soca and I goes, I don't think there's enough people in their bar tonight that would like soca. But then I said, all right, so do we have any soca lovers? And then you've all of a sudden got a crowd of people. And it also then allows you to rotate your bar as well. I think as a DJ, people also forget my aim is to also make them buy drinks. So I can't have them always, I can't always have them on the bar, right? I mean, on the dance floor, I've got to get them to the bar. So it's nice to mix around the music. Yeah, another way I would try and manage or read a crowd is really early on is go through the genres quite quickly, maybe 2 or 3 tracks in and out, see what moves people's heads, see what gets people going, just as an idea. Doesn't always work, because you might have the people come really early and then go home early, and then you got to but that's another thing. But I think reading crowd is reading the majority of the crowd in principle.
I'll throw a song out and see how they react, and then once I throw that song and get let's say a good reaction, I'll try to stay around that area for maybe four or 5 songs, and then again I'll throw a different genre out maybe, and I'll see how they react, and then I'll go another 4 or 5 songs, and then I'll just kind of build my night on that system there. Like I said, giving everybody kind of their 15 minutes. I usually give myself I call it the 15-minute rule that I actually learned. I heard it from Jazzy Jeff. So he says when he goes to an event, open format style event, he tries to give everybody their 15 minutes. So he'll play 15 minutes of one genre and let people enjoy that. And then, he says people usually filter themselves out in that open format type of crowd. So 15-minute rule, give everybody a little bit of everything, and so that everybody's happy. And again, it all depends on the event that you're at, and you might be at an event where you have to play a certain genre all night, right? It all comes down to what type of event you're doing. And don't go into an event again with that mindset of, oh, I think this song is cool, so everybody should think that this song is cool. Knowing how to read people and what they want. When you play a song and you kind of don't get a reaction, maybe you try something different and see how it works, and kind of go back and forth.
A party's a living, breathing thing, in my opinion. You walk in with a preset thing. That's one thing, maybe a festival or whatever, right? A performance, if you're a performance. But if you're rocking a party and you're interested to keep a crowd going and a party going, you're going to have to learn how to rock a crowd. And in my opinion, what that really is, if you're, what you're really doing is you're creating a dialogue with the dance floor. That's what you're actually doing. And your first word you're sending out there is your song. Then, I'm not looking at individuals. I'm not looking at this person. I mean, you kind of do, but you collectively also, you look at movement. You look at, has it grown since the song? Are people walking off? Are people jumping on? Are their hands going up? Do you hear a bunch of noise when that next song dropped? And you take that, and that's what is a driver and a motivator on you selecting your next song. And to me, that's what reading the crowd is understanding that even though they don't know, even though that they're collectively doing it, not one person is thinking about that. This person is on the dance floor. He's trying to get laid. He's trying to sing along to this song. He's trying to do all that. The collection of all them being able to see what they are doing and taking that and understanding on, even if it's a level that you can't really formally quantify or vocalize, it impacts you enough in your instinctual level that you know what song next to play. That's what reading is. Yeah, you have a level of influence, you have a sphere of influence that you have to understand that you only have up to this much. And you use it to the best of your ability. You got to recognize ebbs, you got to recognize flow, you got to understand, like, here's the most simplistic approach. Let me come in here, I got a playlist of bangers, I'm just going to hit them over the head one after another, guaranteed greatness, right? Right, and that could very well work, right? That could very well work, but that's not a guarantee for anything, and that's not a dialogue, that is you're just shouting at people now, you know what I mean? And sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. So you got to, like I said, some of it's on an instinctual level, so the only way to get through that is experience. And you just kind of have to, the way I kind of look at it is your brain is kind of like, it's like a processor, it's like a computer. So part of it is whether it's a playlist or whatever preparation you have or understanding of the night, you kind of have that there. You have another part that's, looking at what's happening in front of you. You have another mental catalog of, like, I have this list of, like, guaranteed bangers or whatever that I need to space out for the rest of the night. Oh, then something happens. You're like, oh, boom, I got to add one more to that catalog. I just saw something, or or this group of people came in. I could tell they would like this. Boom. So you have that kind of going concurrently. And then you have to have another just on strictly awareness, like at all times, like, are they happy? Are they not happy? Am I playing this song too long? Do I need to hit this? You know what I mean? So all this is just kind of concurrently going on at the same time. I don't know that I told you a system, more or less just told you kind of what's happening in my brain, and it just kind of eventually got there. But I kind of feel that's what happens in my brain as it goes. How do you develop that system? I don't know, because I think I guess experience is the only way. But you got to recognize what you want to do and what your tools are, and then you can formalize that. That's what got me there. But your brain probably works differently. So me telling you that might at the end of the day, just give you some insight to figure out your own system. Uh, you know what I mean?
Reading the crowd for me is look actually exactly what it's saying. Looking at the people out in your audience, see what they're vibing to, see if they're bobbing their head to what you're playing. I see if they're looking at you crazy, like you know. But that's my thing. See if they're bobbing their head. See if you got one or two person in the corner dancing. Oh, okay, so I'm gonna cater to them and try to get some more people. You know what I'm saying? That's how I read the crowd.
Oh, well, I thought you did good with answering that. You want me to add more?
Hmm.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
everything.
Yeah, to his point, yes, that I also look at demographics, I look at age, um, and use that to kind of get a feel of what they might possibly be expecting. It's not always accurate, right? But I know if it's an age group of 35 and up, and I can pick one song and see how they react to that, then I know to continue down that road. Um, if I misread that audience based on their age group and I go somewhere else, then I know to go down that road. And it's just based on their reaction. I think one challenging part about reading a crowd is when you've done all that you can do, then you just got a tough crowd, right? And it's just accepting when you have that moment. Because I think we've all can say we've had that moment. And it's like, I don't know what else to do at this point.